because we have an appointment tonight and Thursday, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Shall we start on number 1?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We have a lot of problems to cover, so if you want to skip problems that you know how to do, please say so, and we won't spend the time covering.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1. You can only add and subtract like terms.
Yeah.
So what are the like terms?
7x squared y plus 9x squared.
Yeah, it's the x squared y. In other words, if I circle all the like terms, circle that one, let's circle that one, and let's circle that one.
Oh, I see.
Call each one of those an apple. You can always add apples together. You cannot add an apple and an orange. These are all apples. They're all exactly the same thing. So what do you get when you have 7 apples plus 9 apples plus 1 apple?
18 apples?
17.
Oh, sorry.
The concept of this problem is you can only add like terms. Okay? In other words, if one of these things was an xy squared, I would not be able to add it to the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, you can multiply unlike terms. We have an x cubed and we have an x squared. So we definitely can't, we would not be able to add those because they're different. But we can multiply them. What's the first thing we should do with number 2? Using, you know what I mean when I say PEMDAS?
Yeah.
Okay, do parentheses, exponents first, and then multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So get rid of the parentheses and exponents. It's the first thing I can write.
Would it be 14x?
Well, hold on 1 second here. I'm not sure what's going on here, but should solve it. Well, we have 5x cubed. Now, simplify that. In other words, that is parentheses and exponents, right?
Yeah.
You should do that first. So what is 7x squared?
Oh, 49x.
49x squared.
Oh, x squared.
In other words, you have to square the 7 and you have to square the x.
Yeah.
Now you have 5x cubed times 49x squared. Apply the two numbers together. What do you get? You can do it on a calculator if you want.
$125.
245. Do you have a calculator in front of you?
Oh, yeah, I just did it in my head.
Do 5 times 49. It's 245.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Now what's x cubed times x squared? All right, let's go over it. Rules of exponents are extremely important. Okay, so let's just go over them. If I have x to the a times x to the b, what is that equal to? when you have multiplication going on at the base, and you have different exponents, you add them. Like that.
Okay, yeah.
So if I have x cubed times x squared, which is the problem we have, what is that?
X5.
X to the fifth. We
Yeah.
verbalize that. Not x5, it's x to the fifth. Okay? What if I have x to the a divided by x to the b? Same base, division. What's that going to be?
Do you multiply the
No,
exponent?
we multiplied them when we were multiplying, or we added the exponents when we were multiplying the bases, right?
Yeah.
So if we're dividing the bases, what are we going to do with the exponent?
Add.
Subtract. Remember that addition goes with multiplication, subtraction goes with division.
Yeah.
So if I had x cubed divided by x squared, what would that be?
X to the first.
Yes, exactly. So that's rule number 1 you have to remember. That's rule number 2. As long as we're talking about it, let's talk about rule number 3. If I have x to the a all to the b power, what's that going to be?
X multiplied,
Yes.
multiply.
X to the ab. So if I had x squared all cubed, what's that equal to?
X to the sixth.
Got it. Remember those 3 rules. They're going to ask you a lot about those 3 rules. Notice the first rule. Multiplication, same base, I'm adding the exponent. Second rule. Division, same base, I'm subtracting the exponent. Third rule. Same base, exponentiation taking place, I'm going to multiply the exponent. Those 3 rules are the 3 most important rules almost when you're talking about exponents. Only thing I can tell you is you have to memorize these 3 rules. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go back to the problem. So let's look at number 3. Now, number 3 involves these 3 rules and only these 3 rules. The same 3 rules that I just talked about, you want to apply first. Excuse me, hold on a second. Okay, I don't think I need it like that. Okay. Treat the numbers and variables separately. Okay? So the first thing we have to do is handle 25 divided by 6.
Oh.
Can I reduce that? Is there any number that divides into both 25 and 6 equally?
No.
No. So that doesn't reduce. So I can just write 25 over 6. Now let's look at the x variable. Okay, that's the next thing we come across. We're going to do all of the x's. What is x to the 5th divided by x to the minus 3rd? Remember what you're going to do. You're going to subtract the exponent. Because division. Subtraction goes with division.
Is it 8?
Yeah, x to the 8. Now, let's handle the next variable, y. What is y to the 4th divided by y? Again, subtract the exponents. You have division going on.
Is it 3?
Yes, y to the 3. And that's your final answer. And all of these types of problems, they look hard. They're actually really easy. You just have to do the numbers first, then do the next variable next, and then do the next variable. They could have 25 different variables there, and it would be still easy. You just do each variable alone. How about number 4? Do the numbers first. Always the numbers first.
7x.
What's the numbers? What's 5 times 2? Let me back up a second. You saw that I was making a mistake and you noticed it. What really should I do first?
Combine all like terms.
Now, let's do the exponents.
Oh, okay.
So let's do that first. In fact, let's write the first term without doing anything. Apologize for all the scribbling. Take that, what's inside the parentheses, and take it to the 4th power. What do you end up with? In other words, you still want to do PEMDAS. You still want to do exponents first. And then parentheses. And then multiplication and subtraction and so forth. So on. So take that, what's inside the parentheses, and take it to the 4th power. Do the number first. 2 to the 4th power. It's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2.
32.
2 times 2 times 2 times 2.
16.
Okay. So that's 16. Now do the next variable. X to the 6th to the 4th power. What are you going to do with those exponents?
Add them together.
No, you're going to multiply them.
Oh,
We don't have multiplication going on. What we have is exponentiation going on.
Oh, okay.
One level less than exponentiation is multiplication. So it's x to the what?
So, wait, we're subtracting them now?
No, we're multiplying them.
Oh, sorry.
X to the 6th to the 4th power. That's what we're multiplying. X to the 24th. Now, how about the y? We have y to the 5th to the 4th power.
Y to the 20th.
Okay. Now, we've got rid of all of our exponents. Now it's time to multiply these two numbers together. Do the number first. 5 times 16. You need a calculator in front of you, Maddie?
Yeah, yeah.
Every
80,
time we have a session, you need a calculator in front of you.
80.
Okay. What's the x variable? X to the 5th times x to the 24th.
X to the 120th.
You are adding the exponents.
Oh, yes.
Hold on. I want to make sure you really get this down. I'm going to go over it again. Hold on. If you are multiplying the base, you see why that's multiplication?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you going to do to those exponents?
Add them.
Yes, one level less, always. So it's x to the a plus b. What do you do if you are dividing?
Subtract.
Same base. Okay, that's x to the a minus b. Now what if you do, I used to call this double exponentiation, and I think I'll start calling it that again, even though it's really not, it's really just exponentiation. What am I going to do to the exponents? What's one level less than exponentiation?
Multiplication.
Yes, those are the three rules you absolutely have to remember.
Yeah.
And that's it. You remember those three rules, you're going to get 10 problems correct. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to our problems. And let's go to, let's see, we did through 4. Let's go to 5. Now, actually adding and subtracting is much easier than multiplying and dividing. You just add or subtract like terms. So with number 5, what are you going to get?
So you'd combine negative 6n with negative 3n.
Good. What do you get? Negative 6 plus negative 3 is what?
What is it? Negative 3n?
The question I asked was negative 6 plus negative 3. What is that?
Oh, negative
6 plus a negative 3. What is that?
Negative 9.
Okay. So having an n as part of it just means it's negative 9n. With me?
Yeah.
Now, what's negative 13n squared plus 9n squared? Which is basically the problem negative 13 plus 9.
22.
It's negative 13 plus 9. Use your calculator if you have to. I'd rather you be able to do it in your head, but you can't. Use your calculator.
Negative 4.
Okay. So that's negative 4n squared. That's the answer. So adding and subtracting these things is really a piece of cake. You don't have to worry about the rules of exponents or anything. Just remember you can only add and subtract like terms.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6. What's our first step?
Distribute.
Yeah. So what do I get?
So
Hold on 1 second. See if I can fix this. All right. No, I didn't fix it. Distribute. What do you get? Just distribute the term on the left.
9y.
Minus 9y. Do not drop negative signs. Everybody wants to drop negative signs. Do not drop them. You will get the wrong answer every single time. Negative signs are absolutely as important as positive signs. Do not drop them. Okay? So minus 9 times y is minus 9y. What's next? What's minus 9 times minus 7w?
Negative
Use your
63y.
calculator. What's 9 times 7?
63.
What's minus times minus?
Positive.
So what's the answer?
63y.
Plus 63w.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the left.
That's okay. Now let's keep going. Let's distribute the right-hand side of it.
So it's going to be 8y plus 4w.
Now let's combine them all. In other words, we have a minus 9y and a plus 8y. Combine those two.
Negative 1.
Negative y.
Negative 1y.
Yeah, I don't have to write the 1. And then combine 63w with 4w.
$67.
Plus.
So
Need the
plus
plus.
$67w.
In other words, the answer is that. If I left the plus out, it wouldn't make any sense at all. I'd be looking at minus y 67w. Doesn't say anything. What it is it's part of a polynomial, so you always have to have the sign unless it's the very first term. If it's the first term and it's positive, you don't need to write it. But if it's the second, third, fourth, fifth term, you need to put it in there every time. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Number 7. Now, in number 7, when you have expressions that you're trying to simplify, or in this case, add or subtract, your first step really is to eliminate the parentheses. Okay?
Yeah.
Before you can combine like terms, you have to eliminate all the parentheses. So eliminate both sets of parentheses and tell me what to, hold on one second. Make sure I got it right here. Eliminate both sets of parentheses and tell me how to start writing.
Well, how do you eliminate the print? Oh,
Well, you can just take them out.
oh, you don't have to do anything like.
Well, you do on the second set. You don't on the first, and that's almost always the case. When you have a leading set of parentheses, you can almost always just remove them. It doesn't change anything. Like that.
Yeah, okay.
The second set, whole different story. Because everything inside the second parentheses is being subtracted. So when I remove them, I pretty much have to distribute that negative sign. So what do I get?
So negative 4x squared.
Keep going.
Minus 5x.
Keep going.
Plus 3.
Good, very good. Now combine all like terms. How many x squareds do we have?
2.
Which combine to... You're right, we have an 8x squared minus a 4x squared. What does that equal to? Remember, we're combining all like terms.
4x squared.
Okay. Now combine all the x terms. We have a minus 3x minus a 5x.
Plus 8x.
No. Here's the problem up here. Minus 3 minus 5. They're like terms, so the only thing we have to really deal with is the number. What is minus 3 minus 5?
Oh, negative 8.
Negative 8x. We are not multiplying them. If we were multiplying, minus times a minus would be a plus. But when we're subtracting, the minus does not become a plus.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the number? In other words, we have the x squared term, we have the x term. What else do we have?
It would just be plus 3 at the end, right?
That's the answer right here. 4x squared minus 8x plus 3. And finally, number 8. Number 8, again, is just remove the parenthesis. And again, you can almost always remove the first set of parentheses without doing anything. So 5m squared minus 2mp minus 6p squared. Now remove the second set of parentheses. And when two things are being subtracted, you almost always have to do a lot to the second step. So remove the second set of parentheses. What do I have?
So you're going to distribute the negative sign throughout the...
Correct.
So it's going to be positive m squared.
Positive 3m squared.
Oh, sorry. That's the minute.
Go
on. Negative 5np.
Keep going.
And negative 2p squared. No, negative p squared.
Just negative p squared. Right? In other words, all I'm doing at this point is removing both sets of parentheses. Okay, now I've done that. Now combine all like terms. How many m squareds do you have?
2.
Add them or subtract them, whatever's appropriate.
8m squared.
How many mp's do you have?
2.
Add them or subtract them, whatever's appropriate. Minus 2 minus 5.
Negative 7. Negative 7.
7 mP's. How many p squareds do we have?
Is it 2 as well?
I only see 1. Oh, no, you're right. This is a p squared down here, right?
Yeah.
So what's minus 6p squared minus a p squared? Minus 1.
Negative 5.
Minus 6 minus 1. Use your calculator if you have to.
Negative 7.
Yeah, I hate to say use your calculator because if there's one thing you need to know in math, it's how to do single-digit arithmetic without a calculator. Okay?
Yeah.
I can send you to a website that has flashcards that you'll be able to get better at that. But it's super important. And let's see, that takes care of that, 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 and takes care of that. That's it. That's all we had, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So that's our answer. Now, my TV just went on. Let me pull up the next page. Or I go down and turn it off, just to give you a chance to look at it. All right, we'll be back in 2 seconds. Sorry about that. I put my TV on pause and it comes back on its own. So, okay. So we have division going on here, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let me tell you what we need to do here. First of all, if I have a plus b over c, I'm always allowed to separate that into two fractions, like that. Even if I have a plus b plus e over c, I can separate it into three fractions. That's what we have here. In other words, here's our three fractions. There's one of them. There's two of them. There's three of them. And that's your goal. Turn that into three different answers. What is the first one? What is 15y cubed divided by 3y equal?
It'll just be 5y cubed.
What are you going to do with the exponent? You're dividing.
Oh, okay. Subtract.
Okay.
So it would be y squared.
Okay. Do the second one. What's 6y squared divided by 3y?
It would be 2y.
And I do need a plus sign in front of that.
Yes.
I cannot ignore that plus sign. That is not implied. If I wrote that without a plus sign, it actually would have no meaning at all. So because it's part of an answer, it's a polynomial, I need the plus sign. And finally, what is 3y divided by 3y?
Would it just be plus 1?
Yep, that's the answer. Okay? In other words, those are really pretty easy, these kind of problems. Not much to them. Hold on. Let me minimize this a little bit before I, hold on. All right. We have division going on here. Number 20. See that division sign right there?
Mm-hmm.
So write this the same way you would write 19. Everything is being divided by 4f squared. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing? What's 4f to the fifth divided by 4f squared?
1f to the 1f cubed.
And I don't write the 1. Don't need the 1. Okay? Second part. What is minus 6f to the fourth divided by 4f squared?
2f squared.
Not 2. Do the numbers first. What's 6 divided by 4? 3/2.
Okay.
In other words, over here, I want to always present numbers in simplified format. 6/4 is not simplified, but 3/2 is.
All right.
Okay? And it's minus because it was a minus 6.
Yeah.
So it's minus 3/2. How about the f? How many f's do we have here?
That would be f cubed. I'm not cubed. I meant squared.
Okay? Do the third term.
3f. Just 3f.
Plus or minus. I need the sign. Remember, when you are writing a polynomial, you've got to have the sign. If it's not the first term, you've got to have the sign in there.
Plus.
finally,
negative 2f squared.
what's f squared divided by f squared? Subtract the exponent.
Oh, so it'd just be 2f. No, yeah.
No,
right?
It would actually be just 2. In other words, here's what I've got. Minus 8f squared divided by 4f squared, right? Well, there's your negative 2. But f squared divided by f squared is f to the 0, which is always 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1.
Yeah.
Not to mention, anything divided by itself is 1. Well, f squared divided by f squared is something divided by itself. So that's always 1. So this is actually our final answer.
Okay.
In other words, the f's cancel out. I can just cancel those out. You're left with just that minus 2. Okay? I feel like you're making progress here. By that I mean I feel like you're learning something new. Okay, number 21. Hold on 1 second. Wow. Okay. Hey, hold on 1 second. Do you know how to do synthetic division?
I think I know
Yes
how
or
to.
no? I couldn't tell.
No.
Okay, let me show you how to do it. I'll just go through an example for the first one. First of all, you want synthetic division. You have what is called a box like that. And what goes in the box is pretty much the opposite of that number. A 4. Not a negative 4, but a positive 4. You with me?
Kind of.
For starters, well, that's where you start. Start with what goes in the box when you're talking about synthetic division. What goes in the box is the solution to this. Well, if a minus 4 is equal to 0, a equals 4. What goes across the top are all of the numbers. Only the coefficients. Notice no variable. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's how you do synthetic division. First of all, you set it up exactly like that. Next step, you bring the 6 all the way down. No matter what. You just take that first number, bring it below the line. You with me?
Yeah.
Then I multiply 4 times 6 and write it there. Then I add. Tell me if you lose me at any step of the way here. Then I multiply. Then I add. Then I multiply, and that's the exact way that synthetic division goes. Bring down the first number, then you multiply, then you add, then you multiply, then you add, then you multiply, then you add. So this number is 152. I add that to 9, that's 161. Multiply 4 times 161. And you have a calculator, tell me what that is.
Wait, what do you want me to put in?
4 times 161. In other words, what we're doing here is we're adding, multiplying, adding, multiplying, adding, multiplying. If you don't understand it, stop me and I'll go over it again.
It's 644.
That goes right there. Now add that to the number above it.
I'm so confused.
Okay, here's what we're doing. We drop the 6 down, right?
Yeah.
Then we multiply 4 times 6 to get 24.
Okay.
Then we add 24 to minus 12 to get plus 12. Say you understand before I go on.
Okay.
Then we multiply 4 times 12. In other words, it's always multiplication, adding, multiplication, adding, multiplication, adding. 4
Okay.
times 12 is what?
48.
That's why I wrote 48 right there. Now we're adding 48 to negative 9. What do you get?
37.
Now you're multiplying again. 4 times 37. You get 152. Now add 152 to plus 9.
161.
And now multiply 4 times 161.
644.
Now add one last time.
Okay. I think I get it now.
627. In other words, you're always multiplying below the line and adding above the line. You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that was actually an easy one. Because if you go back to the original problem, I had an a to the fourth, an a to the third, an a squared, an a, and a number. Okay?
Yeah.
They get a little harder if you're missing a power of x. So, first of all, let's look at 22. What goes in the box?
5.
What goes in the box on 22? They still want us to do synthetic division. So, the very first thing you need to know is what goes in the box. What went in the box when I had that?
Oh, it's okay, so it's -1.
Good. What goes across the top?
5.
It's the coefficient of x squared.
1.
Now, here's the kicker. There's no x term, right?
Yeah.
So if there's no x term, the coefficient of that is 0.
Okay.
And you have to allow for every degree. And there's still a -7 there. You with me? In other words, if you have a missing x term, you have to put a 0 in there to allow for it.
Okay.
Now, what's the process again? What's the first step?
-1 plus.
Bring down the 5. Always the first step is just bring down whatever that term is. In other words, it has nothing to do with the -1. All I'm going to do is bring down the 5 like that. It's always the first step of synthetic division. Now multiply.
Sorry, I'm still writing it down.
It's -1 times 5.
-5.
And I write it right there. With me?
Yeah.
Now add.
0.
What's 1 plus -5?
Oh, plus my. Okay.
Always add the two numbers that are right above and below one another.
Okay. -4.
Now multiply. You're always multiplying the number in the box times the number below the line.
Is it +4?
Yeah, -1 times -4 is +4. Now add. 0 plus 4.
4.
Now multiply. Minus 1 times 4.
-4.
Now add.
+4. No.
What's minus 7 plus a minus 4?
+11.
It's negative 11.
Oh yeah, because we're at, okay.
If you're having trouble doing single-digit arithmetic, use your calculator. Always.
Yeah.
In your calculator, what kind of calculator do you have, Maddie?
I just have my phone right now.
Okay. What kind of calculator do you use when you take your tests?
Ooh, I know it's not a graphing calculator.
Okay. Here's the thing. Calculators are all different. Some of them have two negative signs on there. One of them means subtraction, the other one means negative sign. Some of them only have one negative sign on them. You use them entirely different.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know which one you're using. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to add a -7 to a -4.
Yeah.
You have to be able to know how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay? So, now let's talk about one other thing. First of all, there's a plus sign there that I didn't put in. What is the answer when you divide that by that? Well, look at everything that's below the line. Because we're dividing a cubic by a linear, this 5 is a 5x squared minus 4x plus 4 with a remainder of minus 11, which is always divided by what you were dividing by. So that's the answer right there, the very bottom.
Okay.
In other words, what you get here is your answer. You just have to add the variables back in. In other words, what synthetic division basically does is that the variables really don't have much to do with the answer. It's all in the coefficients. Okay?
Yeah.
So synthetic division doesn't even write the variables in there. Notice that there's no x's anywhere in this thing. So you get to the final answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how you do it. Let's do one more because 23 is actually easier than 22. First of all, let me bring it down a little bit.
Wait, how much time do we have?
About 10 minutes.
Like, how many problems do you think we could do in that time?
We're still on the first page. I don't know. You know, this is a semester's worth of problems.
No, I'm just asking because I was like, because there's just like one more kind of problem I would like to know how to do.
That's fine. I want you to direct. I really do. At this time of year, everybody always gives me way too many problems to go over in 1 hour. Because what you're all giving me is a semester's worth of problems. So you really need to pick and choose which ones you want to go over.
Yeah, so do we only have time for like to do one more?
Well, 1 or 2.
Can you go to the next page and 25? Just because.
For sure.
Yeah.
Actually, let me make sure I have the next page here. I may have the same page. That's the same page. Let me go to the next page. I've got these in order. Yeah, this is a new page. Which one?
I think, actually, I think that's the page after the one I was looking at.
You want to go to the previous page?
Yeah, because the one I'm looking at is like 25, and that's 27. Yeah, that's the one we were just on.
Hold on. I thought I had downloaded each one of these, but I appear to be missing one. Let me see if I can find it. What do you want? Problem number 25?
Yeah, I mean, I could say it.
My computer seems to be fouled up a little bit right now. I'm not quite sure what's going on. So if you can say it, let's do it that way. Hold on a second. All right, what do you got?
So in parentheses, it's 8k squared minus 56k plus 98.
Plus negative 8?
No, 98.
Plus 98?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then end a parenthesis divided by 2k minus 7. And it says to use long division to find each quotient.
Okay. Let me show you how to use long division. First of all, put that.
Oh, actually, I think it's actually 56
What's
for the
that?
middle. It's actually 56 for the middle term.
Okay. So it's 56 instead of 66?
Yeah.
Okay. So, when you are doing long division, it's also important that whatever you're dividing into has every variable represented. In other words, we have a k squared, we have a k, we're fine. If the k was missing, you'd need a 0k in it, just like synthetic division. Okay?
Yeah.
As long as everything's copacetic, then this is really a rather simple problem. Start off always by dividing 2k into 8k squared.
4k squared.
No, just 4k. Remember, you're subtracting the exponents. 2 minus 1 is 1.
Yeah.
Okay, now multiply 4k times both terms. Well, we know we're going to get 8k squared there. What's the next term?
Negative.
Go ahead.
Negative 57. I know, 56k.
What's 4 times 7?
28.
That's what you write right there. In other words, what I'm doing is multiplying that times that, then I'm multiplying the same thing times that. With me?
Yeah.
Now subtract. Long division is all about dividing and then subtracting. Synthetic division, you'll notice, was all about adding and multiplying, adding and multiplying. Long division is the opposite. It's always about dividing and subtracting, dividing and subtracting, dividing and subtracting. So the next thing you're going to do is subtract. What's 8k squared minus 8k squared?
20k.
8k squared minus 8k squared. Anything minus itself is what? 17 minus 17.
0.
169 minus 169.
0.
Anything minus itself is 0.
So just 20.
0. 8k squared minus 8k squared.
Oh, I thought we were doing 8k squared minus.
No, we're going to subtract inside now. Okay?
Okay.
Now the next thing you're going to do is minus 56k minus a minus 28k. Over here on the left, minus 56k minus a minus 28k. Don't drop any negative signs ever.
Negative 84.
Nope. It's negative 28k. Let's talk about this over here on the left. Did I put in a rectangle? If you are subtracting, change it to an addition problem, change the sign of what was being subtracted, and now you have minus 56 plus 28. That's minus 28.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Now, back to our division problem. You want to bring down the next number. Just like the long division, you always bring down the next number. You with me?
Yeah.
And now stir and repeat. Actually, forget the stirring. Just repeat. Divide 2k into minus 28k.
Wait, sorry, I didn't hear.
Divide this thing right here without the negative sign, like that,
Yeah.
into this thing right here. What is that? What's 2 into negative 28?
It comes out like a...
No, it doesn't. Use your calculator. Negative 28 divided by 2, not the other way around.
Negative 14.
Okay. And the k's disappear, right? So it's just negative 14.
Yeah.
Now multiply again. Negative 14 times both of these terms.
Negative 28. And
Okay. And then what's minus 14 times minus 7?
$98.
Positive 98. And now subtract. What do you get when you subtract those last two lines on the right?
You mean like the negative 28 minus...
You got to do negative 28k minus a minus 28k. And then you have to do 98 minus 98.
So they're both 0.
They're both 0. And that tells you that you're done. There's no remainder. This is the answer right here. 4k minus 14.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. That's how you do long division. Hold on. Before I leave you there, let's just review long division without variables. Let's say I divide 3 into 58. How do I do that?
Well,
You start by dividing 3 into 5. What is that?
1.
Okay. Then you multiply 1 times 3. Then you subtract. Bring down the next number and repeat. What's 3 into 28?
Uh, 9.
Okay, and then you multiply. What's 9 times 3?
27.
Now you subtract. What's 28 minus 27?
1.
There's nothing left to bring down. Therefore, the remainder is 1. Therefore, it's 1 divided by 3. So the answer is 19 and a third.
Yeah.
That's how long division works. As long as I have all the variables, then they don't really matter. You're just always working with the coefficients. So 3 into 58 is not a whole lot different than 3x into 58x squared plus 27x, so forth. So adding variables does not make it more complicated. Just have to remember how to do long division.
Okay.
Okay. So let's look at another one of these. Ooh, shoot. Well, actually, we're at 6:30.
Yeah.
Maddie, you good to go? I mean, I'm willing to stick around a little longer if you got another one that you want to do.
I think we covered most of it.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll have another session on Thursday. It definitely is a good idea if you want to go through these problems. I got plenty of problems to go through because I have 6 pages here.
Yeah.
But if an hour isn't enough to cover it all, figure out what you want to cover in that hour.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, Maddie. Have a good one. I'll talk to you Thursday.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay.